Hey there, everybody. Don here. And some of you that know me know I'm big into skull rings and custom silver jewelry. And I have a couple of ring videos on my channel. This is one of my newest ones. It comes from Chris Black Designs. I've had multiple Chris Black Designs rings over the past few years. I have personally found them to be one of the best um, custom skull ring makers there is, or custom jewelry makers for that matter. Um, Before I get started here, I want to give a little background on Chris Black Designs and custom jewelry, custom skull rings in general. You can go, on eBay, and you could type in skull ring, and you can get a stainless steel skull ring for $5, and you can get a silver skull ring for $70, and the inside's going to be hollowed out. The finish on it, quite frankly, is horrible. Comes from China. Not that I have a problem with products, coming from China. It depends on what it is. But what I want you to understand is there are probably, and I might be wrong on this number, but when it comes to custom silver and skull ring makers, let me say that there's probably 20 20 that I would say that are well known or, are doing things by hand, etc., and really giving you great quality. When I talk about great quality, there's, of course, many factors involved, not only the design himself and the designer himself, but that everything is being done by hand and that everything is being finished by hand. So, with that said, now let's take a look at this. Now, this is a one off piece. I've had this for a few months now, so you are going to see scratches and dings in it because I do wear it every day. Now, if you go to Chris Black Design's website, you'll see many different types of rings. But here's the cool part: if you have something in mind, contact Corey at Chris Black Designs. Either email them, message them through Facebook. They're pretty quick to respond. Chris Black Designs is out of Australia, and you guys can talk about it and come up with a one-off piece if you want something engraved on the side, like I have here. So this is somewhat based off of one of his new designs, which was a sugar skull ring, and the eyes, the way I have the eyes here, the way he did the eyes, these are a little more elongated. His sugar skull has a little more rounder eyes, and the teeth are a little bit different. But of course, it had all the sugar skull carvings all around the entire ring. So this is somewhat based off of that, but of course, just the all plain silver finish here. I wanted a garnet in one of the eyes, just for something a little bit different. And this is a logo that I wanted carved into the side of the ring. Very cool skull and crossbones. And that's just my little gimmick there, boss skull that I wanted on there. And as you can see, it is a one of one. Now, one of the things I really want to try and show here in the video is, first of all, take a look at how well this ring is constructed. You have a massive, thick shank. It's very rounded and very comfortable. You can see how thick the sides of the ring are. And then you could see, just take a look at how thick it is from the case back to the front. This weighs in at 60 grams. So this is a beast of a skull ring. Not the biggest out there I've seen. I've seen some handmade custom ones that were going for 100 grams, 110 grams. Obviously, you have to have a massive paw. That's what I call it at that point. I call it a paw. You have to have a massive paw to be able to wear a ring of that size. And even this, of course, is a very large ring. It makes a statement, no doubt about it. This is a size 11. I wear it on my right finger. which I'll show you there so you can kind of get an idea of how large and massive this ring is. Now, like I said, Chris Black has, many different designs, and one of his key signatures is the way kind of he does the eyes, with the brows up here on it. And you'll see that on a lot of his skull rings. If that's not something you like, of course, just tell Corey, and they'll take care of it. He could pretty much make you a one-off, and depending on what if we're talking just rings, not necklaces or bracelets or whatever, if you're talking just rings, it depends on, what you want. If you want gemstones, if you want gold, he'll take gold pieces and solder them right to the teeth, or, put gold wherever you want it. You're probably looking at it, $500 and up is the price you're going to be looking at as a one-off. If you're looking at something, from his regular line that's on his website, somewhere in the $300 to $400 range is where they start at. But I wanted to, I haven't done videos on my personal channel here in a while, so I'm going to start uploading a few things just to share with everybody here on YouTube and the internet. And Chris Black is just somebody you need to look into if you are into skull rings. And again, there are good makers out there. There are great makers out there. And if you're into skull rings, you probably know who those makers are. But if you haven't checked out Chris Black, you have to. I mean, I don't know how you could be a skull ring aficionado, if you will, and not want to have something like this. I mean, when I get really close up here, you take a look at the detail of those teeth, the eyes, around the nose here. And keep in mind, this is all hand carved from a wax. And then it is cast in silver and completely polished and finished by hand. So I think you can get a pretty good idea from this video. Another thing I'd like to point out is look at how well polished the insides are. I've owned many different skull rings over the years, and if I'm being honest, Chris Black Designs is the only one that I've seen such a nice high polish on the inside of the ring. Normally you see there's a polish to it, but you could still see a lot of the sanded and brush strokes in there. Chris Black definitely does some of the best finishing out there. I mean, look at how well high polished it is. You could see the reflection of Boss from the inside engraving on the shank of the ring there when I turn it at the light. So hopefully this gives you a good look at the quality. If you want to get a one-off made, if you want to order just something regular. Like I said, I've had a couple of pieces over the years. I have a pendant, a Chris Black pendant that I'm wearing now as well. And as a matter of fact, why don't I just take that off and I'll show that to you as well. The chain is not from Chris Black Designs, but this is what they call the Tinman Pendant. He also makes this in a skull ring too, so if you like the look of this, but would like it as a ring or a bead, he does beads for knives, excuse me. So if you're into knives and you like to have a bead on your knives, you could do this in a bead as well. And get close up here. Just take a look at all that hand engraving and detail that is on this pendant. Now, I want you to keep in mind too, even though this is hollowed out here a little bit, this thing still weighs about 20 grams. And if you could see size-wise here, it is not a massive pendant. So it is still pretty damn weighty and chunky for what it is. And then of course you have this huge bail. I have a 4 millimeter thick chain on here. And you could see, I mean, you can easily go double that. So 8 millimeter chain, will easily fit in there. So if you have a big chunky chain, you should have no problem. And of course, you have the custom cross on there as well. So even his bail, even the thing that hangs from the chain, it has carving done to it. So there you go. There is a look at my Chris Black Designs one-off ring and my Chris Black Designs Tinman Pendant. If you like what you see, head over to chrisblackdesigns.com. I'll throw a link in the description below. You won't be disappointed. Corey is a great guy, and his small team are all very friendly people. And Corey will sit there and go 15, 20 emails back and forth with you if he has to make sure that he gets it right for exactly what you want. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. I'll see you soon.